Right, Thomas, got a chart here looking at manufacturing costs in the US. What's going on?
Yeah, this is an interesting chart, I thought. So Goldman Sachs estimate manufacturing production costs by country and then index that to the US. So comparing it to the US. US is 100. If you're 100, you've got the same manufacturing production costs as the US. Not many, maybe like 5 or 6 countries have higher production costs than the US. Australia is one of them. Production costs in Australia are 25% higher than in America.
Yep.
But for most of the world, it's less than America and substantially less than America. So if you get down to Philippines, Bangladesh, Cambodia, Malaysia, Vietnam, you're looking at about 25%.
Your classic make and stuff countries.
Yeah. So like they can make stuff at 25% of the cost of making stuff in America.
Yeah, right.
Which and the point that Goldman Sachs is trying to make, that even like if the point of tariffs is you're trying to reshore manufacturing industry, and you're slapping a 10% tariff on countries, or even 25% on Vietnam or something like that, manufacturers there are going to be like, well, it's still 25% of the cost. Add another 25%, maybe it's 50%. It's still 50% cheaper to make it offshore. Right. So the job of reshoring manufacturing industry is pretty huge given the cost differentials.
Yeah, and presumably too, the volume, like current volume, would far skew towards the lower end of the manufacturing cost chart. So we're looking at this chart and the countries down there, Malaysia, Vietnam, etc., where it's cheapest to make stuff, presumably also have the highest volume of stuff that's currently shipping and being made for other countries. So to that end, then the tariffs are even less effective, because if your tariffs are on, Italy, well, it doesn't really matter because you're not getting that much stuff from Italy. Right. So what is this? So this will presumably throw a spanner in Trump's plans.
I expect Trump will admit that he was wrong. And I don't know.
Well, it's funny because I saw that there was an article I saw today that said a journalist asked him about the TACO acronym that some people are referring to Trump, and it stands for Trump always chickens out. And Trump got really upset about being asked about being called a taco. I mean, there's probably other similarities between him and tacos as well, but apparently. Yeah. So I think maybe people are starting to see through him, and he's backpedaling on all sorts of tariffs all over the place, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing. Like it creates expenses for local consumers and local businesses who rely on inputs for their overseas inputs. Yeah. So it does create headaches. And in terms of like bringing industry back, like the tariffs have to do a lot of heavy lifting. If you've got to bring stuff back from Vietnam where it's 25% of the manufacturing costs, you've got to shift a firm's decision-making cost benefit analysis. Tariffs have to be huge.
Yeah. All right. And you got a chart here on his approval rating as a result.
Yeah. So
where's that at?
I just thought this was interesting. So they talked about like young people pivoted towards Trump in the most recent election, and through January this year, the net approval ratings for Trump were about 0% for all adults and for those under 30. The net approval rating has gone down, which you normally expect with the president as the term rolls on. For all adults, it's down to negative 10% approval rating. Yeah. But for those under 30, it's negative 20%.
Yeah, wow.
So people under 30 have gone off Trump in a big way, much more than the rest of the population. So they turned towards Trump in the election, and then they were like, that was a mistake.
It's interesting that you say that it always happens once like a president comes into power and starts doing stuff. Everyone's just like, this does not match what was advertised on the box.